Welcome back to the league that means nothing on Go Again Gaming. The stakes have never been lower. I'm Ian.
And I'm Connor. Today we are here to cast over a game between Teklovossen and New. We're seeing Kellen versus Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew Matagon, only man to take Teklo 5-0 at a Pro Quest, and
hmm
Kellen Rosenberger. I think he's some up and coming YouTuber, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think he's made content or something YouTube Shorts, TikToks, something like that.
No, one of the founding faces of Fab YouTube,
hmm
Kellen Rosenberger, Red Zone Rogue, as his compatriot on the Living Legends podcast, and certified assassin Stan.
hmm
Now, this is going to be an interesting game uh, because Tekla wants his stuff in the Banish Zone.
Yep,
New wants your stuff in the Banish Zone.
yep. And I do think it's a particularly strange one because Teklo generally plays this kind of defensive play style, lots of reactions, which already can be kind of difficult for New to deal with, but she also can't really take advantage of the blues she's banishing if she banishes these Steel Soul pieces because she doesn't have any base pieces of equipment to put them on.
And in fact, Teklo can play them from the Banish Zone. So
Exactly,
let's
yeah.
see
It's
what's going
like
to happen here.
New draws Teklo cards, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a really interesting one. I'd be fascinated to see how Gallen's navigating this one.
Anyway, with that, I think we'll get over to the gameplay because this is going to be a grind fest of a game.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And there we have it. Kellen in typical assassin fashion. We've got the Marvel, we've got the cold foils, everything's ready to go, and
Yeah, Matt revealing a full suite of Evo base armor makes
yeah, the
perfect sense.
cogworks,
Yeah, the cogwork stuff.
and obviously the machine gun. I cannot remember its name for the life
Techno
of me.
leveler.
Thank you. I've purged bright light seed from my brain and assigned Teklovossen. Now, we had the pleasure of hanging out with Matt a bit in Amsterdam,
Mm-hmm.
and he has such a deep insight into this deck. He
Yeah,
really knows everything about it. He has committed
yeah,
to learning the ins and outs of that deck. And while it might not be the biggest meta choice, it's an extremely powerful thing to know your hero inside and out,
mm-hmm.
especially when your opponents have no idea what your cards do.
Yeah, and also it's a hero that I feel like does reward a lot of reps and a lot of knowledge. You do kind of have to learn to pitch stack that singularity, learn to manage your armor, this sort of stuff. It's
Yeah,
He's a tricky hero to play. He's a tricky hero to get a lot of value
yeah.
from.
Matt immediately activating Teklovossen, pitching two res in a blue,
Yeah,
just getting those cards out of the hand, I imagine. Yeah, sticking a card in Arsenal.
this is the beginning of the pitch stack.
Yeah, and let me tell you, having a resource sink is super powerful on your hero. It just lets you mulligan your hand, basically, if you go
Yeah,
first. Now, obviously, we have Kellen running that spider's bite and scale peeler. The scale peeler could be extremely relevant in this matchup.
yeah, almost certainly. The really interesting thing here is there's no beckoning misplayed.
Yeah, maybe he thinks that we're here for a long time, not a good time.
Yeah, I think the piercing one could be a huge factor here. There's a piercing one on both of those daggers,
Yeah,
and Kellen's game plan could amount to dagger, 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 dagger over and over and over again,
yeah.
trying to
And
get value.
once you start chipping away at that armor, if Tekla loses a piece, that's it.
Yeah,
Like that ain't coming back.
yeah, which makes another assassin card very, very relevant. Shred. Now, News not known for it quite as much as Azuri because they have more unifying attack reactions that work on all of their assassin cards.
Oh, sure, we'll just transcend turn one.
Yeah, looking good, but the usual payoff for this would be activating Mask, and that might just put an Evo in the Banish Zone for Tekla. So
Yeah, yeah. Why don't I draw you a card, Mr. Teklovossen, sir?
yeah. Now the important thing here as well is that it does have Go again.
This is
So
true.
it does look like it's going to be the Mask activation.
Yeah, I know a lot of the news at the Pro Tour that I spoke to were running. Yeah, there we go. Matt,
There's a
just
Steel Soul piece gone to the Banish Zone.
free and easy.
Yep.
I know a lot of the news I spoke to at the Pro Tour for the longer grindy games were on the traverse plan and with the flick knives to maybe have an end game combo turn where they're just like misblade, blue attack, flick knives, blue attack,
Yeah,
blue attack.
yeah. I don't know how well it would work against Teklo. I'm not sure how much of his resource base is devoted to attacks. It's interesting that Kellen's choosing not to transcend here with the Rising Sun Setting Moon. He's just pitching it.
Yeah, very strange. Now we've got
That
Red Red
is
Hiss.
that is the last card in his hand. So the one thing that I could think of there is he knows he's going to play this hiss no matter what he draws, and he wants to leave the Rising Sun Setting Moon face up so that it can potentially be arsenaled or something later,
Mm,
rather than having a bunch of chi and not being able to arsenal any of them.
yeah, one of the things though with New as well, because her ability is an instant, uh, when sort of the Teklo end game, where you pitch stack a bunch of attacks again,
Hmm.
and you can really chip away at whatever attacks that are in that deck just by activating New a bunch if there's blues there. If
Yeah, yeah,
there's, but sure, we'll have to see. We've got a hiss, and now we've just following it up with a spider's bite.
yeah. Just trying to chip damage here. That's all you've really got to do against Teklo. You got to make sure that you chip away at them.
Yeah, like Teklovossen has the inevitability in nearly every game he plays. If the game goes long enough, he will kill you.
Yeah.
Because once,
Singularity is practically guaranteed as long as he's chipped even the smallest amount of damage, or even if you're just a low armor hero, just flipping into it and having all those cards underneath him is practically guaranteed lethal.
yeah. Now let's see where Matt goes with his turn. Yeah, just play an Evo piece. We've got a Steel Soul controller. So we've got just added an extra 6 points of life to the battlefield here.
Yeah. Uh, More like five, right?
Yeah,
Because he's not gonna block with the last bit of it.
that's true.
I mean, if he does, we're very happy
Yeah, yeah.
as Kellen.
Yeah, yeah. The game ends pretty
Yeah.
quickly after that one, I'll tell you. Just a command and conquer.
Yeah.
Face up, here we go. One of the best cards in the game, Arc Staple.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it?
Um.
Now, obviously, we've got this free 3 block here,
Yeah.
and just another card. Easy. Ah, another pair of gloves.
Could we see a pummel? Pummel, maybe, maybe. More likely Slither from the
Yeah,
arsenal
give
that
it
we
go
know about.
again.
Yeah,
Obviously, this means we can tell Matt really wants to protect that arsenal.
yeah,
Um, but the funny thing about this situation here now, we have 2 pairs of Steel Soul controllers seen very early. One of the things that I have seen happen to Teklos, and it's just where is my last piece? Where is it?
hmm,
Ah, Sensor. What a card as well. Phenomenal card in the meta right now. If you can line it up right,
yeah,
it's one of the most disruptive pieces of tech that we've ever seen.
yeah. You can also get knowledge on your opponent's hand very well with new, and it also synergizes very well with Codex, where you keep 2 cards, you pitch a blue for a dagger, Codex back sensor, and you can name the card they Codex.
I wonder in this situation, do you almost want your opponent to not block with their stealth with block their stealth cards with your evos just so?
Yeah, I mean, that way it's preventing damage and keeping the card in your hand. But there's not been much by way of stealth so far. We've only seen that one card that Matt had the D-React in Arsenal for anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And here we have another D-React, covering up 4 damage to that sensor. Naming T-Bone, sure, why not? I mean, I think at that point you can just name Black Lotus.
Yeah, it's not really gonna matter.
Yeah, yeah. What do we do? Roll the dice and see which Evo we want to name?
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
guess.
yeah.
You know?
It's fine, Kellen. You've got him on the 40 turn clock. You've dealt 1 damage on each of your turns.
Yeah, yeah.
What's this? War
War Machine coming
Machine.
over. Um,
Just a 6 for 6 right now, is it?
yes, yeah,
Yeah, 6 for 6 right now. If it
uh,
hits, destroy the Arsenal.
yeah. So a CNC for three times the cost that you can play defense reactions on
Seems.
seems medium. If we continue reading, however, it does get a lot better
Yeah.
as the evos stack up.
Currently, this is an extra medium CNC, but like just one more turn and at least it gets a bit better.
Yeah.
Now let's see whether Kellen really values that Arsenal at all. Might even be a defense reaction.
hmm Well, if it is, you just play it on it, which is
Just
something that you don't have the privilege of doing with CNC. It's part of why it's such a good card.
yeah, Kellen just taking 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows that the onus is on him to finish this game.
Yeah, he can't
So
afford to be blocking too much because he does need to make sure that Teklo dies before they get a chance to
yeah, takes the
turn
Codex,
over into the big mech.
taking Codex. War Machine resolves, goes to the graveyard,
Yeah.
cards to the bottom, and a pass back to Kellen. I wonder what we have here that is much better than dropping a Codex of Frailty. I mean, have you even read that card?
Yeah, that card's messed up.
I hear Brian Gottlieb still hasn't.
Sure, Jack Canty, one of our co-casters, played new for the first time while in Amsterdam, and
Ooh, spicy one from Kellen here, pitching a play kive to his dagger.
awesome card. Love that card.
Nice cult
Also love
foil.
the channel.
Yeah, Jack Canty got to play Codex for the first time.
Yeah, he came over to me after his first round in the side event as new and was like, "What the hell, man? Codex of Frailty is such a messed up card." And I'm like, "Yeah, like nobody told you."
Yeah, so I wonder which present are we going to give you? I really would think in this situation you want to give either a Blood Rot or an Inertia,
Yeah, Frailty's
because
not going to be doing a whole lot of work.
yeah, and you really want to stop them from setting up. So Inertia is very powerful for that. And it looks like we've got an Inertia.
Yeah,
Nice. Always good when our random chance hits exactly what we want.
yeah. Um, It is one though where it's not like seek and destroy. It sadly puts them on the bottom, so there's no way for him to potentially snipe the singularity out of the deck altogether.
Yeah, true. We've got a block on this Spider's Bite anyway.
Yeah,
So let's see where Callan goes from here.
probably says that the hand is fairly attack heavy. You'd have to imagine.
Yeah, yeah. And we've got another dagger. Scale Peeler coming in.
Yeah,
Another one floating. Scale Peeler, probably the most relevant dagger in this matchup.
yeah, it's got to be. There's a block coming out on that as well. And it looks like an Art of Desire Mind to follow up.
Yeah. Just, Callan, level with me. Are you just showing off your foils? Because that's what it looks like to me.
I have a feeling he may have been reading it, just in case Matt forgot between the last one and this one.
And just a nick. Now that is a flesh and blood card.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, just here, have a +5. Also, banish the top card of your deck.
Yeah.
Like these cards that let you choose modes, and then they're already flexible because they're modal. But the ability to choose two is so powerful.
hmm
Yeah, Madagon, Fate Foreseen. Fate Foreseen on that, still taking some damage, but the Fate Foreseen bottoming a card being like, I don't want that one in my banish.
Yeah,
I wonder if it was a singularity.
that would be a rough way
Unfortunate.
for it to end up on the bottom for Kellen because he'd have no real way of knowing where it is in the deck, which is something that needs to be stated as well, I think, because if Matt isn't careful and does pitch stack his singularity and then gets it banished by something like the likes of Justin Nick
Yeah, yeah.
or any of the contract cards, then he could be in for a rough one.
Yeah, yeah. And we've hit a blue.
Yeah,
So banish, draw a card, gain a life. Kellen gets himself an arsenal.
yeah. No, aspect or art of desire soul can just be such a powerful card.
Yeah.
Really, really a big fan of that one. I seriously messed up some enigmas days with that in the Pro Tour side events.
Side events are great. A lot of fun.
Yeah,
If anyone is watching this and is thinking about going to a calling or a pro tour for the side events, do it.
yeah, absolutely.
Like the Flesh and Blood community is one of the best you'll find,
Hmm.
and that's why people are just getting together to play something like this league.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's just like going to play in the Pro Tour of the Calling, but with none of the stress. You're just on a holiday and you get to play a bunch of fun.
Yeah, and if
That's
you're not
all
feeling
upside.
it, you're on holidays.
Yeah, worst comes to worst, you haven't qualified, you haven't signed up for anything particularly expensive. You just sign up for your side events as you want to play them, and if you're not feeling it, you go enjoy wherever you've decided to visit.
Yeah, looks like Matthew just passed there, let the inertia resolve, put a card to the bottom, and has drawn up.
Yep.
So now we've got a new with a 5 card hand. Now, it should be noted, new can't always convert an entire hand.
Yeah, it can be rough. It's always been an assassin issue. I will say you'd have to imagine that Kellen would have sideboarded in such a way that it's as likely as possible that he can convert those. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of defense reactions or defensive minded cards coming in this matchup.
No, and
Teklo has a lot of turns where he does literally nothing in terms of aggression. So you really do need to make sure that your deck is able to continue pushing damage and make sure that it's able to use as many cards as possible in a given turn. It
it's
looks like Kellen's drawn the Sacred Art Undercurrent Desires in this hand. It'll be interesting to see if he can deploy it.
that got played against me in the Pro Tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, by a new Stan Juha Cernilampi. Whispers of the Oracle on YouTube. He decided to hit me with my Smash Instincts,
Yeah,
then banish my Smash Instincts,
yeah,
and then hit me with my Smash Instincts.
yeah.
I have 3 in the deck. He hit me 5 times.
Well, that is your fault ultimately for running greedy and powerful blues, Ian.
How dare I hit him cards? Yeah, yeah. Greedy and powerful blues. I'm sorry, he could have attacked me with one of my many Wrecker Romps.
Yeah, but like he didn't just run bad blues, and then new won't hurt you
Have
anymore.
you seen the blues that I run in KO?
There's a lot of good blues,
Yeah.
man. I listen when I play new into KO, I'm happy to be banishing those blues other than Wrecker.
And run roughshod.
Well, Run Shot, yeah, it makes your Wrecker better.
This is a man who has never been happy about seeing a Wrecker Romp in his life.
Wrecker is just like the worst card in the game. I hate it.
Ah, a random draw. I wonder what it will be.
Yeah, it could be anything, literally anything in the whole world. Oh, we do see a Sink Below in Kellen's hand here.
Yeah, just pitching it.
Yeah, pitching it presumably for the Sacred Art.
Yeah, Sacred Art, Undercurrent Desires. Very powerful card here.
Yeah,
Like, create a Fang Strike and a Slither, banish the up to 2 cards, and Transcend. This is a hell of a play. It doesn't see a lot of play in most new decks, but it is extremely powerful.
it's
And
very powerful when you can get it off. I think the issue that a lot of news have with it is just difficulty getting it off. And to be fair, it is an issue for all of the 3 cost instants. I think the other two just potentially have more consistent payoff.
yeah, and like Zen's, for example, he wants to be keeping full hands anyway.
Hmm.
So if you can get that one off, you can just turbo
Yeah,
Crouching Tiger turn. Now,
it's also within itself pretty strong.
yeah, I think with this Sacred Art, I would be looking to banish the, yeah, because any 2 cards, I would be banishing those big attacks and not some of those evos. Because if you banish those big attacks, that's one of the things they want to get back when they flip into Teklovossen.
Yeah.
But,
So using the slither from created by the Sacred Art here
yeah.
to give this levels go again.
Yeah, and Matt, obviously just taking 1 point of damage here, have been blocked with his gloves.
Yeah. You have to assume that Kellen is going to have some follow up related to the chi here, because otherwise we could have potentially seen the Sacred Art played in response to the levels and get an
Mm.
extra mode by activating new.
No, we're just pitching this chi now for the dagger.
Yep. So there is that tunic counter up. As I have said before, I think Assassin is one of the coolest classes at making use of that extra tunic counter
Hmm.
for things like Spiders Bite, CNC, those kind of interactions.
Yeah,
So
and
we could be seeing something like that here now.
those daggers, like it's so feels bad to try and cover them up.
Yeah,
So
no.
Matt just taking the 1 point of damage here. Another levels.
Yeah. I think Matt actually covered it with the steel
No,
soul, or was that blocked on the
that
levels?
was blocking on the
Ah,
levels.
okay.
It's a bit hard to line up your combat chain when you're, an
Over webcam, yeah,
entire
exactly,
continent
exactly.
away.
Yeah. So this level's getting another two modes, another go again draw card.
Yeah. And yeah, just covering it up with another card.
Yeah. Have to see what Kellen's got to say about this one. There's still a Fang Strike in hand.
Could be very cheeky here and throw in that spider's bite, or not the spider's bite, the scale peeler. Just start messing with. I wonder, does that work retroactively to armor that's blocked on the chain?
I would need to read it. I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure, actually.
And a weakest link. It's probably not doing a whole lot, but let me tell you, if any class loves a blue block three or a red block three that throws 6 damage,
It's a definitely Assassin.
meh.
It's Azuri's bread and butter. But no, I have a feeling that Kellen might generally have his list set up to be a little bit more defensive because he still has those sinks in and he's running the weakest link in this matchup
Yeah.
where realistically it's not a big player. So I'd imagine he's kind of struggling to board up into a purely aggressive list to play
Mm,
against Matt here.
yes, definitely. And we saw Matt's hand there was a defense reaction and two other cards. I imagine he's just going to play this Evo headpiece from the Banish Zone
Yep.
and pop that Fate Foreseen into his arsenal.
Yep. So we see the second piece fall into place for Teklo.
Yeah, and now all of his cards have three. All of his big tank attacks have three less cost, so they're really starting to hit the stride now. So they have an on hit, a very powerful on hit on a lot of them, and they only
Hmm.
cost three.
Yeah. So they represent having some powerful two card hands. And speaking of powerful two card hands, if Kellen ends up banishing another relevant Evo Steel Soul, that's another really powerful two card hand
Yeah.
that Matt has access to.
Absolutely, and like as I said already, the onus is definitely on New to try and finish this game.
Yeah, no, and it can be difficult. It can be very difficult as an assassin player to end the game quickly. Generally, the class's kind of bread and butter is disruption. You are
Yeah,
there to disrupt what your opponent is trying to do. But if your opponent is just purely trying to defend, there's not really a whole lot of ways that you can disrupt defending,
yeah.
unless they're not conservative enough with their blocks.
We're just sending a weakest link, pitching
Yeah.
a homage to Ancestry. Obviously, Kellen got all of his chi over at the world premiere. Yeah, and just a nice 6 block with the equipped headpiece and a headpiece from hand.
Yeah.
Matt really trying to draw these evos in pairs.
Yeah. And the Fang Strike is going to push over the extra point of damage. I can't imagine that this is a relevant on hit other than just a little bit of information here.
Yeah, because any non-blocks you have in hand, you're just going to play in response if it's a fabricate.
Yeah,
On
Fabricate's pretty much the only one for Teklo, right?
I believe some lists are on energy potion because it allows you to pop off slightly easier on your go off turn on your flip.
Interesting.
I
Well,
know
as
Garvin,
we
one of our locals, was running them.
as we predicted, it's not a relevant on hit. It doesn't take any cards. Just shows a couple of Teklovossen cards and a Warmongers.
Yeah,
What is
sure.
it? Liquid Cooled Mayhem, something like that. Is that
Yeah,
the name
yeah.
of that one?
That's one of them. That's the one that costs less for each Evo you have.
Yeah, I think there was one or two of those. I know Warmongers in the hand there.
Now, what a funny card is Warmonger's Diplomacy. People were not looking at it at all, and then it became the card.
Yeah, I really wish it was just a UPF card. I hate it so much.
Hey, you're talking to a Runeblade player here.
Yeah, I mean, I was an Azalea main when it came out. It
That's true.
pushed me off for,
I did find 3 slots in Briar immediately for it.
yeah, it's a non-attack action blue block three. That's the main crime. Like, even if you want to give this non-attack action time walk-esque card for certain matchups, make it
Yeah.
like a red, make it have a cost. Why is it a blue block three?
And Matt has found another Evo piece, just pitching away, getting those boots on. Now we're starting to get scary.
Yeah, I think Kellen has to really hope to hit the singularity into the banished zone or something somehow.
Yeah, these one or two damage chip turns are not going to do it anymore.
No.
All as soon as Matt finds the chess piece, we are in the waiting room, and it is going to be scary.
Yeah, yeah. Now, somewhat relevantly, Matt hasn't managed to chip a whole lot of damage yet. So there's a chance if the singularity happens, it's not just straight up lethal.
Oh, and we've got a leave no witnesses coming in here.
Yeah,
Powerful card. The other thing to remember as well with Teklovossen, his cards get overpower. That's not really super relevant against a class with,
so many reaction cards.
yeah.
And speaking of reaction cards, this Leave No Witnesses is having a hiss plate on it, but it
Are you
looks
saying
like.
it's having a hissy fit?
But oh, there's no slither. It's just a hiss.
It's just a nick.
Yeah, well, it's just a nick in the pitch zone. And yeah, we knew there was a Fate Foreseen in Arsenal there, so no surprise to see it come out.
Yeah, got to get rid of it while we can.
Yeah,
Matt putting another card to the bottom, making sure that's not the one that gets banished to leave no witnesses. I really hope for his sake that Singularity isn't on top of his deck.
yeah.
Otherwise, we might just see a like
I
GG shake my
mean,
hand.
things get a lot more interesting if that's what happens.
You just got to punch him with tanks, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, punch him with leveler, punch him with the attack actions.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
game plan doesn't change a whole lot, you know. It's instead of transforming, you just start throwing attacks, but you're still trying to get all the evos on.
That's the other thing we haven't talked
Oh,
about.
another Evo Steel Soul or Evo Steel something or other going into the
Yeah, can't
Banished
quite
Zone
see
there.
which one it is due to glare. But we're also having talked about that. Teklo Leveler has really become. It starts very below rate, and
Yeah,
it's now a very on rate weapon.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
And it just once you start getting those evos on because of Techno Leveler, it can be so much easier to punish your opponent for. Oh, there's a singularity.
yeah, yeah, we're
We see it in
getting
the
onto
pitch
the
zone.
bottom of the deck. We don't want to see that for a while.
Oh, and it will be a while because we're a fair ways into the game now, and it's only getting onto the bottom of the deck at this point.
Yeah,
But I mean, Matt's already on 23. There is a real world where his life total gets in some danger before we get all the way back down there.
I can understand his pitching it though,
Yeah,
because if you don't pitch it here and you stick it in your arsenal, it's stuck in your arsenal until you find that chess piece. And Assassin, has one or two pieces of arsenal disruption.
yeah, no, it's very common. Um, and yeah, you just really can't afford to lose the singularity. It is the main win condition of the deck and of the hero in general.
Yeah, it is one of the most powerful things you can do in a game of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, and it has been immortalized on Matt's playmat.
Oh yeah, evil Iron Man.
Yeah, yeah,
Kellen just take six. There's my sink below. Don't need it.
yeah.
I am
Um,
not in the business of blocking here. I am in the business of punching.
yeah, and we now do know where the singularity is. It's about 50 something cards away. Probably slightly hyperbolic, but he
Uh,
now has a rough idea of how long the clock is.
yeah, Callum, can you kill him in like 6 turns, 7 turns? Because if not,
Whew.
we're
Yeah,
gonna be things are gonna get interesting.
he strikes good start here.
Yeah, I assume.
Presumably coming over for five go again. I hope it's going over for five go again.
Otherwise, we just took six and we're like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
go again.
yeah.
There we go. Block with Scrap
Scrap
Trader and
trader
the Boots,
and
covering five.
boots.
Scrap Trader, very powerful card as well. Uh, Also excellent on your pop off turn.
Yeah,
Just generate six resources and just go.
yeah. I mean, you don't need the scrap as much when New's doing the heavy lifting for you, though.
Yeah. You suggesting that new is a scrap trader?
I guess she's looking for a scrap pretty regularly. Card's great in that deck. I sincerely hope we get to see Kellen play a few of them because it's a very powerful, aggressive tool that can turn hands from very, very medium damage to pretty reasonable damage plus disruption.
Yeah, yeah. And we're looking at that. Was that another foil that Callan was showing off? Because I don't think he was reading Enlightened Strike off. If you don't know what Enlightened Strike does at this stage, you have not been playing Flesh and Blood for a long time.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just a classic staple. I love the card.
Yeah, famously very confusing when you're a new player and you don't know what to
Yeah,
choose.
yeah, no, my opinion on it has gone full 180 because I started out playing Fi and just chucking draconic cards at people's heads. And then I bought these E-strikes because they were in all the lists, and I just didn't understand how to use it, what the best mode was to choose. It would just cause confusion more than it would help.
Why why no 0 for 3? Where
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
Why conditional go again when go again do job?
Go again is on every card. What do you mean?
Yeah, and we've got a levels with the tunic. Uh,
Presumably just coming over for three here, I guess.
yeah, I guess so. We've got
Oh, we do see the grain that tips the scale in hand.
yeah. I imagine that's just going to Arsenal, saving it for next turn, maybe for some disruptive on hit,
Mm-hmm. That would
or
make sense.
or for the opportunity to transcend.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I think at this point it's not great, but any amount of damage is better than no damage.
yeah. Um,
Just giving up another Evo,
hmm
blocking 3.
And yeah, who knew that
Yeah.
lunging
Beep.
press would become a good card when it also pitches for three when you play
Yeah, I
it?
think Kellen just bumping this up to 4.
Yeah, I assume he's gonna mask here.
Masker new. I
Well,
think
the
either way.
levels currently doesn't have go again.
Yeah, just try and rip cards out of the deck, but it's always tough to do.
Oh, well, it's not an Evo, right?
No, that looks like a JYD,
That was a real card.
a junkyard dog. He got
Hmm
that dog in him.
Yeah. So that's going to help pad the life total a bit for Kellen, because otherwise he was realistically probably getting hit with that.
Yeah, also gives him something to throw.
Yeah, was it a blue junkyard?
It was, I
Ah,
think
okay,
so.
cool.
Yeah, and here we go. Teklo Leveler firing up for a whole 2 go again.
Yeah, slowly getting closer to being good.
Yeah, yeah. We're now like slightly better than the pistol.
Yeah, two go again for one resource is a good rate.
On a
But you
weapon.
really, yeah, you really want to get it to that three as soon as you
Yeah.
can.
Callan just covering it up with his equipment, going like, "Nope, I'm keeping my 4 cards.
Yeah,
I need to send."
it can also be an awkward one for Teklo, even when it is one cost, just because most of his big attacks cost three, and he does not have the luxury of running something like Tunic. So just chucking it in, even though it has go again, isn't always the easiest feat.
I gotta assume there must be some number of boost attacks in the deck as well, because the Evo base equipment is the Cogworks.
Ah, it's just the psyops. I
I was
wouldn't be at all surprised because that was what everyone was doing at the start. I'm pretty sure, even
true.
when they were on the defensive Teklo lists, they just have more text on them. Why would you not run the ones that have more text on them?
So let's see where we go here for Kellen. Obviously taking 2 points of damage, not really too worried about it.
Yeah. I imagine he blocked with the arms and the legs there mostly just to free them up, make sure he gets the value out of them
Yeah,
because you
because
want to be able to pop those whatever. Or could see something really spicy come over here, like a bonds maybe.
yeah, you never know what we're going to get here.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of variance in what new will present on any given turn.
And you never know when you're going to catch that value on those equipment is in a matchup like this where Teklo has not attacked a whole lot.
Yeah, no, I mean he rarely does. Um, Most of the time he needs to devote his resources to padding his life total and making sure that he can establish his own game plan and
Absolutely.
get his Evo set up.
Yeah.
We're
E
seeing,
strike coming in clutch again, setting in a 5, go again.
yep, it's really important for new, I think, to have these E strikes to make sure that even on hands that aren't particularly functional, it's at least a reasonable amount of damage. So we're seeing Weakest link follow up to Sea Strike coming over for 6, and looks like that's getting the remaining block functionally on the boots. It'll go down to 1, so
Yeah,
you won't be blocking with it again. And is that an Annihilator engine? And then revealing a unmovable and the what's that blue one that blocks for a bunch when you get enough evos? Steel Street Enforcement, something like that.
yeah, something along those
Something
lines.
something Steel Streety. Yeah.
Starts as like a 1 block, becomes a 5 block.
Yeah, that's the one in there with that unmovable. So be interesting to see what Matt's arsenal is here. If it's one of those big attacks, that's great because we can just migrate the unmovable down there into the arsenal where it can get max value.
Yeah, so let's see where we go from here for Matt.
Looks like he
Just
played the chest
yeah.
piece.
Now we are fully online. We are ready. We are waiting.
Yep,
We have a wait. We have a while to wait, but we are waiting.
yeah, waiting for the singularity. And in the meantime, all of those big attacks have all of their text, which makes them
Absolutely.
pretty scary.
No, this is going to be a long one.
Yeah,
I think we just go into sort of stay alive. If we and with Kellen's life total starting to hit 30, we're slowly getting there.
yeah. We're already pretty much with the fact that Nu doesn't have a massive amount of armor at her disposal. We're already at the point where the life is at a stage that singularity is pretty much just lethal on its own. It'll just
Absolutely.
take a few turns.
No, this is where things are going to get dicey for Teklo. Are we able to stay alive?
Yeah,
I assume they will be because the deck does one thing very well, and that
yeah.
is block.
But
Yeah,
we are seeing a surgical come over.
giving
There's
you
a hiss
plus
going on top of
one,
it.
just a little boop.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure if we saw the unmovable get pitched last turn. If we did, then we don't know the D-React situation. But no, that unmovable does come out from Arsenal. And it is the same white border one, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Matt seems to be very committed to these white border defense reactions. That was his sink belows for white border as well.
What's the point in getting those fancy? They don't even turn you into a big metal robot man.
That's true. That's true. We should really, you should really get his cards white bordered by Mara Faris. We've got a persuasive prognosis, one of the really powerful new majestics that came out in Mistvale.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, the on hit is super powerful here, but I can't imagine we're going to see it connect. I'd be very surprised. There could be. Is there another card left hanging
yeah.
around in Kellen's hand? Could be a Justinic potentially to worry about here.
Just blocking 3 with a command and conquer for now. Matt obviously still has 2 cards in hand. Again, Callan is really going to have to start stepping up the numbers on this damage if he wants to close the game out before we get there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that or just keep a really close eye on Matt's number of cards in deck and just banish the singularity off the top. It'll be
yeah,
fine.
just make sure you balance the correct one. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
It's fine. It's fine.
yeah. It'll be fine. I don't
What's
know
the
what you're
worst
worried
that could
about, Ian.
happen?
It'll be fine.
Yeah, pitching this magnetic straight into the Teklo leveler. Um, so we'll just go a nice casual 2 go again.
Yeah,
It's no real problem here.
yeah. Slowly chipping away.
Yeah, just taking the 2. Yeah, I like. There's no real point in blocking this. It's 2 damage. Like,
Yeah, no. Like we've said so often, it is three actually this time.
oh, you're so right.
He had gone back up to 31.
And a weakest link of his own.
Yeah, so there is actually follow up here. We did see the CNCs earlier. That was the other one you kind of need to be worried about following up a Teklo leveler.
Yeah, yeah. Weakest link actually relevant against new as well because you run those transcend cards. Those transcend cards don't block,
Yeah,
and the last thing you want to do is give your opponent access to an extra card.
yeah.
Like,
No, I mean the weakest link is very powerful, but also not so powerful type of strange effect. Where when it is live, it's insane. It's nuts.
Yeah,
Not only does it take a card out of their hand, it also gives you a card back. But there's also pretty much every deck that it is live against isn't. It's not always going to be live. So when you throw it, you don't know whether they're just going to go, okay, eat six. Here's my handful of three blocks, or oh my god, I need to make sure I block this. I can't lose a card and give you a card because it would be such a huge
yeah.
swing.
Now, one of the things to remember about the weakest link, though, is if you can transcend as new, like your hero ability is an instant.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not a once per turn.
yeah.
You can always dump those transcend cards.
Yeah, and they are all instants themselves as well. So even if you can't transcend, you can normally at least prevent them from drawing a card by playing them in
Yeah,
response.
but here we go. Kellen is just like, yeah, show me. 22. Life totals are suddenly very, very even.
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously, he has a hand of blocks, of cards that block. And
yeah,
Siren's Call, Bonds of Agony, Art of Desire, and CNC.
yeah,
I could definitely see Bonds of Agony get played here.
yeah. Demands a certain amount of respect in terms of blocks, but it is unfortunate that the hand has been seen. Like,
Yeah,
there's no secrets here whatsoever. There's no Justinic to worry about. None of that.
yeah, because like it might be worth throwing the CNC, ripping a card with the Siren's Call, and keeping the Bonds of Agony for a better moment. Because you really like if you can take three of the tanks out of
Yeah,
Teklo's final run, you're really pushing yourself into contention to win this game. Like,
yeah. No, it would be a very scary thing, but the other relevant thing to say here is if Matt doesn't have anything in his hand that he minds losing, so to speak, Bonds of Agony shuffles the deck
that's
and
true.
could shuffle that singularity closer to the top, which would be hilarious.
Yes, and the other thing about Bonds of Agony is if you're in the know and you can't cover it, or there's a card you really don't want to lose all copies of, just block with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let him have one. You can have one copy.
Hmm.
That's no problem. Please don't take the rest.
Yeah, just block with a tank here, take a little chunk of damage, and get your deck shuffled for free. It's great.
Yeah. I hear that increases your odds of getting things. Yeah, we're just throwing a six block here, another junkyard dog, the red, and the
Demolition Protocol, I believe.
yeah, you're familiar with that one from Bright Light Sealed.
Yeah, I hated Bright Light Sealed so much.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, I have three hyperdrivers. Oh, I have no
No,
hyper.
no hyperdrivers, no nothing.
It's a good fair card. It's on attack.
I mean, it's very fair in CC. It does nothing to almost everyone.
Yeah, it's unplayable. It's just a nice 3 for 9 in
Yeah,
Matt's deck.
it's just numbers.
Yeah, yeah. With Siren's Call, with no targets.
Yeah, so whiff on the Siren's Call is a bit rough here for sure. And like we said, we know, Matt knows, we know, Kellen knows, there's no way that this Bonds is going over this six block. So it'll be interesting to see if he chooses to use the stilettos here and potentially try and send the CNC just to leak damage. We know there's a sink in hand, but there's also no arsenal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the threat is a bit muted.
I think you should leave it here and just let the CNC let him decide if he wants to arsenal that defense reaction and pop your CNC in the arsenal.
Yeah,
Personally.
I think Kellen is probably of the mind that he just needs to make sure that he's leaking damage wherever he can
That's
here.
fair.
But I mean, there's still three block left on that chess piece as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
even if Matt says he doesn't want to get dealt damage here, he's not getting dealt damage.
No. Like,
It's a really rough spot to be in with that singularity slowly making its way up the deck. Just that kind of inevitable crawl towards victory.
yeah, like this is the thing about Flesh and Blood. When you have this many 3 blocks, if they don't want to take damage, they ain't taking damage.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're all very familiar with this. Connor, you'll be very familiar with this, particularly from playing Warrior and playing Warrior Mirrors. That once you get to the final points of life, then the grind really begins.
Yeah, yeah.
Like closing out a game of Flesh and Blood against a deck that can block really, really well becomes a real challenge.
Yeah, no, it does. Especially if they can manage to demand cards on the way back, because then you can't go over the top of a hand ever. It normally is broken by someone managing to establish an arsenal and get the extra card to go over and take the
Yeah.
tempo. And then the following turn is when you can actually try and close out the game.
Yeah, like one of the things that is awkward for Kellen here is all of Matt's tanks are now online.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, Teklo's a much more dangerous deck.
yeah.
Like, I think in the early game here, he could have afforded to take a couple turns where maybe I pocket this card, I don't threaten as much.
Hmm.
But because Teklo, 9 times out of 10, if they don't have 4 Evos, if they only have two, they're not doing a whole lot to you
Hmm.
with a 5 card hand.
Yeah. No, like the threat of just going, yeah, whatever, have a turn.
Yeah.
Um, normally isn't a big deal, but here it's getting there.
Oh, we're seeing one of the brand new Evos coming out from the expansion slot in Mistvale. There's a really important thing to remember about this as well. It's an instant,
Yeah.
so that it won't get banished by a stealth attack.
Well, you also can't block it, right?
You do
You
have
can't
some
block with it.
cards in your deck that allow you to block with it.
With
Fabricate, because it increases the temper value of all your Evos.
sure.
I think
Do
that's
the do the steel soul pieces when they are armor get
there.
banished by news text?
They are still actions
That's so funny. I
in
love that so
in the
much.
same way that they
I
can't block
cannot believe I
overpower.
didn't know that. We've casted this game for like 25, 30 minutes, and I just didn't know that interaction at all. I knew the interaction with overpower because it comes up in limited,
And it
and
came
it
up.
makes sense that this carries over there. But that's so funny that if Matt at some point just has a brain fart and blocks a bond with a piece of armor, it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's just
Anyway,
gone now.
and I think that is really the most powerful part of News game plan into this deck is you can't block these stealth cards with that equipment.
Yeah.
Not if
Which could
you.
make it very difficult to cover a big kind of scary just a nicked stealth card.
Hey, someone. I was playing Blitz at the weekend, and someone double just nicked a stealth card at me. I was like, oh, thank God I'm at 12.
Yeah.
That was almost scary for a second. Anyway, kill you. Yeah, yeah. And here we go.
Dagger, dagger.
Scale Peeler, really the premium weapon in this game. Like any amount of piercing is obviously good.
But this is like piercing with piercing on top.
So yeah, piercing goes to +2. Obviously, there's no hit going through here.
Hmm.
So the chest piece still covers it. Now, it's very important to remember that if Scale Peeler attacks and you have one temper, you are also losing that piece of equipment. If you have one piece of block left on temper, because Scale Peeler will go over the top, deal the point of damage, and it will have 0 defense when it comes off the combat chain.
I don't think that's how it works because it says the next time you defend with a piece of equipment.
Oh, fair.
I think it works that way with shred because
You're right. You're right.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But Scale Peeler also very powerful in general against temper.
Oh, I mean it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
The fact that Matt did dedicate armor to it, even though it has the piercing and it's a below rate to dedicate the armor, is testament to the fact
Yeah.
that it's very powerful. He wants the flexibility to be able to block
And
with his
we've got a
armor.
sensor here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What do you name? Black Lotus.
Singularity, just in
Yeah.
case Matt's cheating and has two. Unironically, though, you probably name War Machine or Annihilator Engine or one of those big scary ones.
Pick.
We do actually know what one is in the arsenal. I am
Yeah.
not recalling properly, but
Yeah.
we knew the two cards from the Siren's Call. One of them was the Sync that got pitched to come over with the leveler. The second one went into Arsenal.
And fun bit of tech we saw cast by the Fresh and Buds guys in the last new game against Riptide. was you can block those daggers with your bullseye bracers to give them the +1 on their piercing to turn on your
Yeah, yeah,
traps.
yeah. Oh, I mean, so many of the traps are online so often as assassin anyway. Like the daggers turn on can just turn on half of them because of that. But also you're always doing reactions. Some of those reactions give go again. These are the things that Riptide tends to prey on.
Yeah. So we pitch the chess piece, shoot the gun, we inch ever closer to the inevitability. Like
Yeah,
like Thanos,
there's three
Teklovossen is
cards
his
in
name.
hand and one in arsenal for Matt here. I will be truly shocked if we do not see an IP an IP penalty
Yeah. A
here.
self-imposed IP penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially because all his tanks cost 3 now. You can't even pitch 6 for
Yeah.
them. What are we gonna
Uh,
have here?
is there an Evo attack that gets go again? I don't think so. Not that
No,
I can
we'll
remember.
just send in the Terminator tank.
Yeah.
Hey, now this is a scary one. This is a 9 overpower with a discard on it.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
this
it's
is
really powerful,
relevant.
and it represents more than half of Kellen's life total now because there has been an extended period of needing to disrespect the damage that's being sent over so that Kellen can try to push damage of their own, and now it's coming back to bite him, you
Yeah,
know?
one of the big problems as well if you're disrespecting the damage like that, if you're on KO or Zen, whatever, like
Hmm.
that doesn't matter because I'll disrespect your 6 damage and throw you 20 at you.
Yeah, yeah,
When you're new, you're throwing maybe 8 to 15 points of damage at like your upside.
yeah. No, the issue mainly is just that you need to disrespect the damage to increase your own damage threshold, but the threshold doesn't go up by anywhere near as much as it does for an aggressive deck, you know?
Yo, Kellen, send me the bill. Whew. That's a tasty one now. At least you get to choose your discard.
Yeah.
I found that one very relevant in my games against Teklovossen when I was on KO. I was like, oh, I have to discard a card.
Oh no.
Beast within. Yeah, discarding that Siren's Call.
Yep, that one kind of makes sense. Doesn't really increase damage ceiling, and it also, like, they're going to be blocking anyway, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
You can force them to block a dagger, but I mean, he's kind of been blocking the daggers anyway.
yeah. Dropping another Evo into place, the Short Circuit.
Yeah,
When it's equipped, deal 1 damage to any target.
yeah,
Nice. Yeah, you're at 6.
yep. And yeah, I didn't realize that those Evos, how though, despite being instants, still have a block value of 0. So now I do get what you meant
Yeah,
from
yeah.
earlier.
Good old Evo Short Circuit. Lunging press at home. Lunging press in metrics.
Yeah, Hornet Sting in metrics, maybe.
Oh, you're so right. All right, we've got a drop. Nope.
um,
I assume Matt is just going back to the correct ordering of sequencing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
putting the pitch on the bottom first, then drawing his 4 cards.
yeah. And we get one turn closer to the singularity.
Yeah, just send him 5, go again.
Yep, with a
Codex.
card left over.
Codex, maybe?
You'd hope so. You'd really, really hope so at this point.
Oh, look at this. Matt blocking with the 0, blocking with the 2.
But Matt, that doesn't block for anything.
What are you doing? That's a fabricate.
Yeah,
Shocked. I'm
yeah.
shocked.
I'm truly flabbergasted.
Now, fabricate. This is a powerful card. Banish an Evo from hand, draw a card. You can just reset any Evo piece that you have
Yep,
as
and they
well.
all get +1.
Yeah, so that 0 is now a +1 defense.
Yep. It's just to leave no witnesses.
And those, very important, those instant Evos don't have temper.
Yeah, yeah, so they can't get blown out, even on a turn like
Yeah,
this.
so now they're secure, really secure. And we've got a Steel Street Enforcement there blocking, covering up that, leave no witnesses.
It's also really cool that on a turn against someone like Dash or something similar, where they need to break the combat chain regularly, they would just block for one over and over and over again because they don't get a -1 counter at all from
Absolutely.
blocking.
And like Uh, real good enforcement against T-bones. Like,
Hmm.
just
Just
hey,
another fat attack coming over
hey,
on hit, discard a card.
who needs singularity when your opponent is dead?
Yeah, this is when your opponent is already dead. It's an ironic block there coming out from Kellen.
Yeah, already dead. The prime victim of the assassin tax.
Oh my god, that card is disgustingly expensive. I actually don't know. Is it a similar situation in the US, do you know, for their prices? But I know on card market anyway, that card is worth about a mortgage, and
Yeah,
and it's so medium
like
for how much it
if
costs.
you think assassin is expensive, just wait till you look at the price of already dead in Europe, and you're just like, cool, 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 cool. I'll
Yeah.
go buy Dash. Dash is cheap.
Yeah, no, Dash is cheap. Dash is great. Play that instead.
Yeah,
But only if you're thinking of registering already dead.
yeah.
Otherwise, Assassin's great. And there's nothing else expensive, I swear.
How much is Codex of Frailty?
Well, like, it's a piece of cardboard. It can't be that expensive, right?
It's only a book.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a
Yeah.
little novella.
Kellen going to two here. Matt has what I would call a healthy lead.
Yeah, slightly. And he's now minigun locked. Normally, more traditionally, Kodachi
Kadachi lock.
lock would be a thing, but
I'm pretty sure a minigun would lock me down pretty
yeah, I
easy.
mean, honestly, from 40 health, I think a minigun could lock me down.
Yeah, the real problem here is Kellen has shown up with two knives to a gunfight.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I would. Kellen's given it his level best here, but and I would really like to be surprised that this is the outcome, but I can't say I am. with
No,
with with what we were talking about at the start, I mean, New just actively assists Teklo in what he's doing, and unless you get really lucky and do blind hit the singularity,
yeah.
then you're already in for a world of pain.
Would you say
And
you're
here,
already dead?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And here, he hasn't even needed the singularity.
No,
He's just gotten into his normal old suit of armor and is
no pact with it.
clamping Kellen with the Evo
Yeah,
upgrade
no pact with any
attacks.
shadow demon or anything. He's just going like, "Hey, 9,
Yeah,
smack."
he's just a dude in some metal armor.
Yeah, yeah,
I can almost respect it. Almost.
yeah. Like fair.
I've been known to play dudes and dudettes in metal armor myself.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Matt clearly showing his experience on the deck here by knowing that Singularity is a great game plan,
Yeah,
but it's not your only game plan. And once he got those Evos assembled, it's like, cool. Hey, my foot is now firmly on the gas.
yeah. No, the something that I saw earlier on that I think we brushed past just because the game moved on a little bit too quickly. But when he chose to keep that extra attack and keep the sink below in hand, and then pitch the sink below to attack with the gun, as opposed to blocking with any of that, that was when I was like, oh, I think he might be turning around here and
Yeah,
trying to maybe get a bit more aggressive because obviously you can do the block three with the attack that he ended up arsenaling and just arsenal the sink blow and keep up the defense. But Matt saw an opportunity to pivot there that
yeah,
is only something that I think someone that's got a lot of experience on the deck.
yeah. Callan going through his graveyard here, I can only assume it's a Codex of Frailty,
Yeah.
or he's just looking to see if he has any threats left in his deck at this point that can deal with the problems that he's
Hmm.
facing.
Could be something where he's going to be drawing
No,
a
it's
card or
just a
something.
Codex.
It is just a codex with a card still in hand and tunic counter up, which is really interesting because he's going to have to discard here, and I'm not 100% sure why. Now, if he's thinking of getting back specifically censor, then this kind of makes sense because he wants the tunic counter to play the censor.
Yeah,
But even if it's a red in hand, he could have gone tunic counter, scale peeler, or spider's bite
this is
into
true. This is true.
codex, leave no witnesses.
It's a tough call. Yeah, we're getting the sensor back
Yeah,
and discarding this card in our hand, which is a red hiss.
yeah. So valuing the sensor over potentially trying to chip it with a dagger and then come over with a leave no witnesses.
I think if you're Matt here, you can just look at this 5 power on the sensor and go like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much of a read he thinks Kellen's got on what might be in his hand, I guess.
Which of his many tanks is he going to pummel him with now?
Yeah, but I mean, if he does manage to keep one, the thing is that like if he has one, it's nine and it has overpower. There's a reasonable chance that even with a a 2 card block here, he just goes nine overpower with 2 cards and Kellen dies. You
Yeah.
know?
How many reactions you got, brother?
Yeah, exactly. And if he does, then like worst comes to worst, he has what all of the tempo.
Yeah.
Kellen gets to keep a card and the arsenal card from the ponder. It's just all looking very, very Matt favored at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't see the line for Kellen to dig out of this one.
Yeah, we'll just block with the gloves here. Just because we have a spare card, we don't want to IP ourselves, take
Yeah.
2 points of damage.
Now here comes Kellen's mastermind soul read,
Yeah,
ruins Matt's entire hand and turns the game
absolutely.
around.
He's
I
just
have
going.
full faith.
Matt's drawn three of a kind, and Kellen is going to name it like he's like blind naming
Yeah.
and just got him. And then it's going to turn all new all
Well,
the time.
well, it looks like he needs a little bit more information before
Yeah.
deciding
What are your tanks
what
called
card
again?
he's going to soul read.
Listen, you're playing Teklovossen, and nobody knows what any of your cards do. So,
Yeah. What do you mean you're playing mechanologist cards that don't say boost on them? Naming Terminator tank. So it is one of the big tanky boys.
Terminator tank is the most relevant one here because
Is Terminator tank not the one that Kellen's been attacked with back to back now though?
maybe, I don't know, maybe
I
he's
think
just
there's
been.
I think there's only one left, but we've also seen War Machines go as well, so
He might just be delirious at this point because, like,
just running out of energy. Needs food and water. It's been so long.
please, my deck.
Oh, it's a sigil. We're 3 life further away from victory as new here anyway.
uh, stop it. He's already dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teklo leveler back to being a 2 power attack. This is fine.
But oh, because of the frailty,
It
sure,
is
sure,
because
sure.
of the frailty. Blocking with already dead.
Another already dead. Such but oh my god, there is a war machine as well.
Yeah,
This is almost certainly lights out. Maybe there's a defense reaction in arsenal or in hand that keeps Kellen limping here, but I think even if you live here, you're
I
not
see a
very happy.
venomous bite in hand at least.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like already dead. €50 to just cover up a
Cover
gunshot.
up a
Yeah, we
few
got.
attacks from Teklovossen.
Yeah,
But
we're
yeah.
going tunic and a card and another card and if you're lucky, another card.
Yeah.
Oh well, the war machine did come from Arsenal, so it's only eight.
Oh, nice. Thank God. We get to play more of this game as
Yeah.
Kellen. So I
Listen,
think it's likely we see the Venomous Bite block here unless there's a D-React involved.
sometimes you just have to be petty and keep the game going.
If there is no D-React here and he takes one and loses his arsenal, God, does that suck.
I think this sucks it
I, th-
anyway.
well, I think it's about to extra suck. It looks like he was about to block with that Venomous there.
hmm Yeah, so that's a
Take
7
one, go to
blocked.
one. This
Listen,
hurts. This
okay.
hurts.
When your opponent's at 18 and you're going to 1,
Yeah.
18 and 15 and fucking 20, 30, it doesn't matter.
Your opponent might as well be on 1,000 life. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
No,
your win condition here is hoping that your opponent passes out.
listen, Kellen is a consummate professional. He's a content creator at heart. The show must go on. He will die to the actual
Yeah.
game. You may be able to concede a game of Flesh and Blood at any time, but he values the league getting this extra few minutes of gameplay.
Now, Kellen has done a great job on commentary for Fab before, so obviously he just wants us to get as much practice in as possible.
Oh my god, another already dead! Insane!
Damn! What a playset!
It is to be fair worth noting and quite unfortunate that that card actually has some relevant text against Teklovossen. It basically says you can't block with the Evos, and if you manage to do something with Go again that was blocked by an Evo into an already dead, it's very, very scary. But all three of them were piled at the bottom of his deck, waiting to be blocking when he is himself basically already dead.
Yeah, gun,
There's some poetic justice there, but
gun.
I can't imagine Kellen's too appreciative of it on one life.
Yeah, yeah. Three.
Whatever shall we do on one life? Now, is there another tank coming out?
Nope.
No, but he's got that dog in him, though.
And it's seven as well. So you really just like, yeah, just give it. Give me the cards.
No, I mean, Matt could choose not to scrap a card. He didn't, because he's mean, but he could have been nice.
Yeah, yeah. Cue Simpsons meme. Stop it. He's already dead.
I mean, yeah, literally. He's been already dead 3 times now.
Oh, this is not looking good for Red Zone Rogue.
No, this is tough viewing. This is it's hard to watch him struggle through this one.
Yeah, we really have coughing bit.
Oh, I think that might somehow just about be the end.
Hmm.
There
No,
is a sync by the looks of it in hand, but there's also a codex, so it's a 2 block and a 4 block and a non-block, and that doesn't quite cover seven.
it's time to sink that non-block.
Oh, this is gonna hit a reaction, and we're gonna keep going. Have we seen Homage to Ancestors played? I think it was played about an hour
It
ago.
was pitched very early on in the game. Kellen, just flip it and dead.
Oh, and it's all over. Kellen's dead, but I can imagine he's been feeling fairly dead for a while.
It's all over but the crime, baby. Ah,
Yeah. Oh my God.
what a dominant performance by Matt.
Massacre. Yeah. No.
No,
Once he
that's a brute card.
Massacre.
Why do you look so happy with yourself?
Because it's just great.
No, really well played. Kellen, tough break. You really tried to stay in that game there.
Yeah. No. I
Uh,
mean, he fought on valiantly, but Matt saw the opportunity to be there and just shut the door. Just
Absolutely.
absolutely slammed the door.
Yeah, yeah. And once we hit four Evos, we're like, cool, my deck is now functional.
My deck is now cracked. Like actually, all of those attacks are just incredibly powerful. Once you have done the legwork to set it up, it's just a lot of legwork to set up. But
Yeah.
once you have your deck full of 3 for 9 overpowers with relevant on hits, it's like cool. Yeah, Guardian wishes they were me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Guardian really wants to avoid Teklovossen. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll give you infinity turns to kill me.
I mean, I feel like at the moment Guardian's probably wishing they could be just about anybody else.
No, no, we've got that mastery set. Just trust,
Oh yeah,
trust, trust.
just a short what 9 to 10 months away,
Yeah.
and we've got Wizard and Runeblade on the way. Historically excellent Guardian matchups, but
We
no,
love
I
it.
I jest. I hope you Guardian players can stick with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just keep going.
Victor's still fighting on. People are still playing him out
Yeah.
there, you know.
Like second best deck in Blitz, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Listen,
No.
that's the solution.
Hell of a game.
Yeah, yeah,
Really well played by Matt.
yeah.
Like really, really sick plays.
Hmm.
Really showcasing the power that Teklovossen brings to the table.
Yeah.
Uh, New not having her best showing, but let me
No.
tell you, there are some decks in the league where New is going to run riot over.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And like the aggressive decks are what she's here to play against for sure.
Yeah,
The more defensive oriented decks in general, mostly by coincidence, tend to have less for her to take, barring specifically Guardian. And then they also are able to stop her from disrupting them and send back the little chips. So
yeah,
anything like that can be rough. But I think Teklo has to be the roughest of the bunch because it's a defensive deck that stops your on hit, stops your disruption, and when you hit, you sometimes help them. Like,
yeah,
oh, it's
yeah, yeah.
terrible.
Thank you, sir. Could you banish me another? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Could you please draw me another card? I would
yeah,
greatly
it's
appreciate it.
the same if New was to play against Vincetta, I'd imagine you're like, oh, sure, I've banished another RuneGate card.
Yeah, no, it's like well, to be fair, at least against the Shadow Heroes, as new, you can be like, all right, I'm gonna banish enough cards that you can't keep up, or
Oh,
something along those
not to
lines.
mention, I'll banish your attacks that I can actually play.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
exactly.
great game by both players. Really well played. I can't wait to see Matt keep up this pressure in the next round. And Kellen, you're definitely going to get it back.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Kellen bounce back personally as a new fan myself. I'm really
You've been
looking forward
playing
to that
Flesh
one.
and Blood a little bit longer than I would, so you're a new fan. Always remember, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah,
Tell us how great our commentary was. Or if you didn't like it, don't say anything at all. That's fine.
yeah, no, don't
Uh,
don't say if you've got nothing nice to say. But no, yeah, I mean, listen, I feel like our jokes are getting a bit stale, but I'm sure for the second round of the League That Means Nothing, we will come back with some new material.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching.